going on record right now, if this makes it into the episode, that Indiana is going to beat Miami for the national championship by 3 touchdowns. As I sit here tonight, Indiana's playing Oregon and won't play Miami for another week, so we'll see when this episode drops. I don't know. Maybe before, maybe after the game. Hopefully before. We'll see. But we're just in the studio, piddling a little bit, I guess you could say. I want to piddle. Piddle, maybe not the best word. Piddle. Are we piddling here? Are we dilly-dallying? Are we dawdling? Anyway, we're back in the studio, and I'm excited to be here. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. This is so much fun for me. We're not getting rich doing it. It's a hobby at this point. I would like to get to the point where it's producing some income, and that's a whole different. That's a thing for this side of the camera for us to worry about. But it's fun. It's fun to be here. It's fun to get to talk and get things off my chest and talk to people. And apparently there's some subsection of society that enjoys listening to whatever it is we say here and watching us, on YouTube or wherever you find our videos and the podcast itself. And we're grateful for that. And I wanted to say that first and foremost, here in the new year. We're recording this on January 9th. As we're recording, it may be a couple days, like I said, before this comes out. Usually is we don't do this live. Maybe one day we'll do some live episodes. I think we did 1, maybe 2 once upon a time. Live's hard. It's a different thing. But I do want to say this year that I'm grateful in this new year for you guys, for each and every one of you that watch, that listen, comments that we get, on YouTube or wherever, good, bad, otherwise, they all help us in the algorithm, and we appreciate that. I do want to encourage you to smash the like button, as they say, wherever you are listening or watching. That helps us big time. And it's important to the hosts and the places that you find us to see that, hey, somebody likes that stuff. So then we keep producing it. So we had a little bit of a slow year in 25. I want to say we produced 17 episodes of Burnham Podcast, which is way down from the year before when I think we did 45. We try to do this, weekly, and we did not do a good job of that last year. But life was wild in 25. There's a lot of stuff going on. Tango changed day jobs, and his schedule got weird, and a bunch of stuff got added to my, real life husband, dad type schedule. So stuff got odd. It got hard to find time to get in the studio and to book guests and do things like that. And as it is tonight, we don't have a guest here. It's just me in the studio. Tango's running around. He'll be back in shortly. I think that was my understanding, at least. If not, I'm just going to sit here and monologue for a few minutes and then we'll cut it off. But the goal is to do more this year, to be more creative. And man, we've got, if you could see the walls here in the studio, we've got boards up all over with project ideas and things, and stuff sort of storyboarded and mapped out and things that we want to do. And we've talked about some of the projects and things we want to do here. And a lot of things we get into, and I think, we dream real big and we write this stuff down. Tango's back. And then maybe we realize we've bitten off a little more than we can chew. Like, this is easy, to sit in this studio and record and talk and, whatever. It's easy. We can do that. But then let me buckle up since you're here and we can hear each other. But to go out and do things like Destination Hometown, stuff we did that was super labor intensive and time intensive, it gets tough. But that's not an excuse for, slacking off the way we did in here the last year. But again, so I was framing this for the audience, that life got wild in 25, and it was hard to get on the same page and book time to get in the studio. And
it did.
Yeah.
Life sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah. It's funny to me how many people think we do this for a living.
Do they really?
I've gotten that before. They're like, hey, you guys are, I don't know, you must be, not in so many words, but you guys must be rich. You're like Steven Crowder or Tim Pool, or, you know, you got this, and maybe we make it look really good. You know, like it looks, if you can wide pan the studio here, it looks really cool in here. It's a dump on that. I'm just playing. It's not that bad on that side of the camera, but but it looks really cool. Like we got this studio and these cool lights, and I'm wearing headphones like a professional. So like I've had people before that were like, "Hey, you must have, you know, the Timcast compound that they talk about or whatever." And
You do have a compound of some sort. And you got a good tech guy behind you.
I do have a fantastic tech guy, and we've got a really great place. We really do. But we don't do this for a living. This is not. We are bivocational podcasters.
100%.
Not even bivocational. Bivocational would suggest that we get paid for both.
Yeah, we're
not getting paid for this. We were talking off air earlier about ways to raise money to keep doing this. Like, never mind being paid for it. Like, we got fundraisers going, but yeah. But at any rate, I'm grateful for all the listeners, the watchers, the viewers, whatever medium you consume Burnham Podcast on, for Tango, for that matter, for pushing all the buttons and beeping out all the swear words, and there are no swear words. But I don't know. It's cool to be able to sit in this chair and I think about where this started and the different iterations that it's gone through. So like episode 1, where did we even record episode 1? This is going to go way back. This is pre-Tango. This is me and my brother, Drew. We sat down, and I explained this in episode 100, what happened. So if you go back to the beginning of Burnham Podcast, wherever you won't see it on YouTube because we didn't have video episodes for a long time. But if you go back like Spotify or wherever, you'll see that we don't have an episode 1. And that was because we recorded episode 1 on a server that was kind of like Anchor, if you're familiar with Anchor. Spotify owns Anchor now. But we recorded it on a server one day, and then that was the same day that they finalized a deal, and I want to say they sold to like IBM or whatever. So it became a different company, and we lost access to our podcast, and we would have had to pay like $1,500 to get it back. And I was like, it wasn't that good, so we didn't. And I may be wrong about those numbers. It might have only been $500. Either way, I wasn't paying for my lousy 30-minute podcast to get back. But then we recorded a few episodes in a studio that doesn't exist anymore, that was on the campus at Shorter University when Drew worked there. And then, I don't know, I did another 100 episodes or so on USB plug-and-play microphones.
In a camper.
Did a bunch of them in my camper. A lot of them at my living room table. Just places I could find to sit down and be quiet for a minute. And then we kept having kids at my house, and it became more difficult to find a quiet place. But here we are in, our studio now. We've come a long way. But me and my brother co-hosted the show to begin with, and then he got a job out of town, so it was just me for a bunch of episodes with like sporadic guests here and there. And then we had a run of probably 60 episodes or more with a guest on it.
Yeah, it was a haul.
Yeah.
It was a slog of guests, so it was fantastic. And
yeah, and it's fun. I've gotten to talk to a bunch of people, and people I'm interested in talking to. And I do think that, I wanted to sit down and it not just be me, because it's so hard to just sit and talk by yourself. Like, it's tough. It turns into this weird thing where it's just you in a room with a microphone, but you're talking like there are a bunch of people listening to you, even though there aren't while you're talking. So it makes it kind of weird. So I wanted to branch out from that and make guests regular and allow people to come on and tell their stories. And then we kind of got silly with that, because this is a faith-based thing to start with. And some of those episodes got away from us a little bit, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, there was no mission, there was no goal, which is okay too. But I kind of want to nail down the why again. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, why are we here? Why do we sit down and we do this? It's fun. I enjoy it, but like, you got to have some why. And as long as you're telling people's story, like, that's a good why. That's solid. Or if we're talking about our faith or, church issues and things that we've talked about before, that's a solid why. It's like, I want to get back to the why. Like, why are we doing this? we could say it's for fun, and like we could do a lot. I could tell dirty jokes and say the F word for fun, but like, what are we? Is that your why? Is that like a good purpose? Well, yeah, maybe depending on who you ask. I guess we're not going to do that. Go ahead and say it. What you got?
No, I was just thinking we live in a world right now where there's a lot of things going on without a purpose. There's a lot of people just kind of mindlessly scrolling, watching videos, doing whatever, and a lot of that's brain rot, no content.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we want to refocus it and not be the brain rot to just sit here and tell jokes. And because we can get 1 million views that way. That's easy.
Right.
It's a little bit harder to tell the story and have a purpose behind it.
Yeah. Well, I've always felt like we were going the long way, in terms of building an audience and things like that. But, there's the long way or there's the easy way. And then the easy way is also the cheap way, where you're just like, shock value and rage bait. And you're like, click on that.
The easy way is a sell your soul kind of.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that all the time, and you can find it on YouTube, but like if you're on X at all and you scroll, you see it's just rage bait and everybody wants to argue about things. And it's stuff like somebody get on there and post, LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. Well, like, where's that? There's going to be people that agree with you, and there's going to be people who disagree with you because that's 100% wrong. But there are people that are on both sides of that argument that are willing to fight about it. So then your engagement, goes through the roof. And there was a guy the other day, and I don't remember his name, and I wouldn't say it if I did, but he got on and he was like, hey, so am I a scumbag because I hate playing with my kids? I mean, there was more to it than that, but that was essentially his question, right? He said it makes his blood boil to play with, to watch his kids for more than 10 minutes at a time. So, there were all the people that wanted to affirm him and be like, no, you got to love you and blah, blah, blah. And then there was the other side that were like, you're a sorry, So I look at that and I think that guy might hate his own kids, and that is what it is. But like, he definitely knew that he was going to get engagement from that. And last I checked, he had like 18 million views. So like, he got what he wanted on that end of things. But like, is that what we're doing?
No.
Is that the right? Like, what do we? Like, I could cause an argument, I guess, and get all sorts of engagement, or I could provoke thought, or inspire somebody, or educate somebody in some way, or be inspired or educated myself. Which is, the goal when you bring somebody on, hopefully, is to learn something and at least get to know somebody and help them introduce themselves to the world or, at least your market, your audience. But, we got to get back to that why. That's kind of the idea that, he wanted to get back into. And that doesn't always mean a guest on every episode. It means we bring up an idea and we talk about it. I want to have guests. But man, as hard as it is for Tango and I to get together at a certain time in a certain place, within the confines of our own schedules, it's exponentially harder when you bring in a third person and you're like, hey, can you come out and do this on Monday night at 7:00? Well, he can, but Tango can't because he's got whatever going on. So the guy says, can you do Tuesday? Well, Tango can do Tuesday, but I can't do Tuesday. Well, what about Wednesday? Well, then the guests can't do Wednesday. And then you end up kicking the can, and maybe 3 months later you get them on, or maybe you don't. But these people are real people too. It's not like they're famous and they're doing a tour to promote their movie that's about to come out. So they've got time dedicated to get on a podcast. Like Craig McClure was on, and I don't remember if he said it on the episode or not, but he said a yes somewhere is a no somewhere else. So like, it's 9:30 on a Friday night. Like it's bedtime at my house. And right now the no for me is I said no to helping my wife put the kids in bed tonight. And that sounds terrible for your hobby, right? But that's life. That's the way it is. I'm not doing this during daylight hours when I could be playing with my kids like that other guy that gets mad at his own, whatever. But life's tough. It's hard, but it's easier if you have your why. And the conversation that I have with my wife, and she understands, why we do this. She knows what my why is for sitting down here and hitting record. And then, doing all the things it takes to get it posted on YouTube and the socials and everywhere else, the episode. So the why, like, what is the why? Tango, what's your why? I'm not going to put you on the spot like that. I'm just,
what is my why?
Yeah. I'm kidding. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, that's an on the spot question.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure about.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. But I know, I didn't have a podcast for about 2 years after I had the idea. I was like, what's a podcast? So I did some research, and I was like, oh, that's what a podcast is. What do I need to do a podcast? So it was every bit of 2 years before I had the idea, before I finally sat down and pressed record. And like I said, the first episode just went up in smoke. But that why, it goes back to that why. I feel like, God gives me things to say. And then once God gives you a thing to say, it's your duty to say it, and it will absolutely eat at your soul until you do say it. I think Paul talked about that. He can't not do this thing that's in him. He's got to get it out and share it with people. And that doesn't necessarily look like preaching a sermon, because as hard as it is to stand up in front of a group of people and preach a sermon, it's 1,155 times harder to preach to a camera with one other person in the room, or maybe nobody in the room. Like that's hard. I've done that, so I can say that. So that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what this is going to look like. But if you go back a couple episodes and you watch like Church Hurt, the episode that we did and stuff like that, there's always something going on. Like right now we could talk about, like ICE just shot a lady in Minnesota, yesterday, day before. The Iranians are overthrowing their own government. I don't know are you following this? It's insane over there.
We kidnapped the Venezuelan president.
Right. So there's all these things you can talk about, and we can look at those things and say, what does the Christian think about those? How does that apply to us? Should we be involved in that, marketplace of ideas, or should we not? What does the Bible say? Should we correct these people or support these people, or where are we at on this immigration thing? And do we hate Donald Trump? And, so that's kind of what I want to get back to. And if you look at the description of Burnham Podcast, most anywhere you find it says life as it pertains to Christians. And maybe that means a guest, and he comes on and talks about whatever it is he does. Our guy, Edgar Mills, is facing opposition right now. He was on a few episodes back. He's facing opposition because he's trying to build a gun range. That's his why. He wants to teach people to shoot and help them be safe and, take care of themselves and defend themselves and all that fun stuff. And there are people that are not super happy about that. So he's fighting that. But to have him on and explain all that stuff, and this is what I'm trying to do, and that was a really cool episode, and it was cool to get that out. We didn't talk a ton about faith in that episode, and I think that's okay. Like it doesn't have to be, the center of every conversation we have, but that one had a good why.
But it was purpose driven.
Right.
That's the key there.
Yeah. Yeah. The why. What's the why behind? I keep saying that. The why. Maybe we'll call this episode the why. What's your why? But I mean, seriously, think about what you as the listener, the watcher, the viewer, what is your why behind whatever it is you do? We think as believers, why this is why we go to church, because it's where we go worship and, blah, blah, blah. But why do you do anything else that you do? Why do you do your job? Why do you have a particular hobby or no hobbies at all? Or why do you behave the way that you do, interact the way that you do with your wife, your family, your friends, whatever? What's your why in life? Well, this is just one of mine. It's got to be more than sitting in behind this microphone being silly. And there's a time for that. Like we're pretty good at that. We can do that. But getting to the meat of things in life, and there are people that are out there like looking for answers. And not that I think I have all the answers, but sometimes you just want to hear somebody talk about something and go, oh, well, we're on the same page. I don't listen to too many podcasters that I disagree with. It's good for you to do that some just to see where the other side's coming from. But like, it's nice to have somebody that is on the same page as you, and you go, oh yeah, yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that. So maybe that's why you watch this show or listen. Whatever your why is. So here we are. So our why here is to get back to having a why. That's the why for this episode. The porpoise. You don't want to defeat the porpoise.
There we go.
But yeah, that's kind of it. It's not. It's okay to have fun. You should have fun. You should laugh. You should tell jokes. You should do all those things. I've done it before, and we're gonna do it again. Where I'm gonna promote a comedy show. Like, that's fun. Those things are okay. It's okay to have fun, but you gotta. If we're here on this earth and we believe that we're here for a purpose, we have to seek that purpose and carry out that purpose. Maybe you go on the occasional side quest, like promoting a comedy show or signing up for a jiu-jitsu tournament or whatever it is you do. Do it with your why. Do it with your purpose. Do it, to bring glory and honor to your creator, as it were. And I don't say that in some general term because there's only one. You don't get to pick who it is. There's just the one. But whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever you eat or drink, do it for his honor. So that's the goal here. And not just with Burnham Podcast. We want to make the things like the Burnham Brief a weekly thing. We kind of hit and miss with that over the last year, and I think it's a good idea and it's solid. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from it, but it's just got to be something we do regularly. It's not like we're ever going to run out of news to talk about. Always going to be there. And man, people have been after me for the last couple of months. Like, hey, let's get some episodes. Like, when you guys going to get another episode? When you going to record again? Okay.
I get the same thing, and not many people know who Tango really is, but like, I'll get a message every now and then. Hey, are you guys going to record a new episode soon?
Yeah.
The heck? How do you know me?
Yeah.
How'd y'all figure out who I am?
There's like 2 episodes, I think, where your actual name has come out, and I think it's like, I don't know, the cat's out of the bag now. I don't know. But that's why you live out here in the sticks, so people can't find you.
Dude, I live on a compound.
He has
you gotta
compound.
be secure.
There's actual compound here with the security because they're shooting podcasters these days. Whew.
That is not our purpose. That is not our why. We don't want that.
I don't want to get shot. I do not.
Please do not. Yeah.
God bless them. It's a crazy world, man. The world is on fire, and hopefully for the 20-ish minutes or hour, or we've got a couple 3-hour episodes, I think. Whatever time you spend with us, hopefully that is, I think respite is the right word, a break from all that stuff. Now, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we talk about those hard things, and that's part of our purpose too, just to have those tough conversations. And that's what I always want this to feel like, even if it's just me. Tango's here with us tonight. Maybe it's just me sometimes, but I still want it to feel like it's just you and I, whoever you are, wherever you're at, just talking about whatever the thing is, the particular thing of that day. So, I want you to feel like you're included in the episode, and we're always open to feedback. Somebody called me fat a few episodes back, and I was like, man, they're right. And I've lost close to 20 pounds since then. So thanks for that, bud. But yeah, so I want you to feel like you're as much a part of this as we are. If you know somebody who would like to be on, you feel like you might like to be on, let me know what it's about. Sometimes we turn down guests because we don't want them on the show. But just because you're going to mesh with somebody or you're not. You're going to G-haul or you're going to butt heads, and we're going after a pretty particular thing here, and some people just don't fit that mold, and that's okay. I'm not mad at those guys. It's just, they're just not a match for what it is we're trying to do here. But if you feel like you understand what that is, and you want to hear us talk to somebody, whether it's here locally in Northwest Georgia or we've got this $1 billion budget, we can fly famous people that we can't, or we would. We've already done it by now if we could. Somebody you'd like to have on, let us know. Give us feedback. Call me fat again, whatever. I'm cutting down. We'll see. Spend a little more time in the gym, a little less time at the table. But not this table, because we like this table. This one's fun. But Tango's hanging up a new storyboard right now, so I think he's about to drop a new project on me. So with that said, we'll go visit this project, and we'll end this project for this episode. But again, man, thank you guys so much for there's probably 23 minutes or so in this episode. The first few minutes of me rambling might get chopped because it was just me rambling. But thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate each and every single one of you. I'll keep doing this, I guess, as long as I can open up our metrics and see that one person is probably not just one person. As long as there's a handful of you. We started out with not many, and we'll keep going with not many. But hopefully the audience will grow. So please like and share and follow us on Facebook at Burnham Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, subscribe wherever you find us. Share with your friends. What does the Tim Pool says? Share the show with everyone you know.
Share the show with everyone you know. Make sure to smash the like button. It's free. It's easy. It helps us. It helps you. It gets more content. Really, thank you for joining us for the first episode of the year, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be fun. You guys stick around. We're going to do some fun stuff, talk to some cool people. But we're out of here for now. God bless you guys. We love you. See you next time.